So we've got 2 bricklayers and we've got 1 mortar maker who is Ned's wife, this chap's wife here. Meanwhile, down at the sharp end, where all the skill is, I'm very, very slowly putting together the pipes. Well, we've had a big storm, so Suntray's just bailing out the area that I'm trying to work in. Thanks, T-Rack, that's enough, I think. Good service, yeah. I had their lunch while the storm was on, so they're now carrying on. Luckily I finished all the pipes down here, so we don't have to worry about drying this out. We can leave it to do it naturally. I just want to get this tank emptied here so I can manoeuvre it, because it's temporarily plumbed in via this hose pipe to the bathroom in the garage. So I need to get the tank empty so I can position it and hardwire it, as it were. So this tank is now plumbed in from the mains, and it's also plumbed out to the pump, which has got a bit wet in the rain, but that will dry off easily enough. And then the outlet from the pump now goes up to a capped spur which will feed the kitchen. Once the wall is built, we'll put pipes through, but that's been capped so I can pressure test it. And then the pipe goes to the back of the house and around the corner to feed the shower rooms. Goes down there and turns right. We've got 2 pipes going to the shower rooms, which are half complete in terms of the pipe work. And I've also, when this has dried out a bit, got to take the mains feed to this other tank, and also an outlet from that tank into the garage. So A little bit of work to do in this corner. This big green tank now is empty, or should be, and hopefully this will dry out a bit later on and I'll be able to crack on with that. Okay, my next job is going to be the bathrooms. Shower room plumbing is finished. Everything is stopped off, ready for the pressure test. The walls are coming along. They're being very careful with the measurements, I have to say, and they're checking the plans that I've written for every wall that they're doing. Not that they understand them fully, but it gives a starting point for me to then explain fully. So I've cleared this area now. I'm not working in this area, so they can carry on doing the walls. I'll be doing them tomorrow, I expect. Carry on doing the walls along here. So I have just got this tank to wire up now. And it looks like it's dried off a bit on the ground, so that's my next job. Well, I've run out of day now, so this plumbing will go into day 3. I've only got this tank to finish, so that's going to be quite easy to do actually. It's just a question of working out the position of the valves, the holes in the tank, and how to run the pipes to them. Very small amount of pipe work to actually do. Anyway, very pleasingly we've managed to turn the water on, the mains water on, and it's filling this big tank now. And it's been going for about 30 minutes, and I've been checking every single joint, drying it off with a piece of tissue paper, just so I can detect if there's any weeping. So far, everything is holding like a dream. Of course, the tank isn't very full. I think it's probably about a third full now. It's quite a good pressure from the water mains actually to fill the tank. We were very concerned about this, so I was envisaging having to have a pump to pump the water from the mains into the tank. Anyway, the proof will be in the pudding later, I guess, because when that's full up the weight will be enormous. So joints like this one here, where I've actually had to screw this on to the tank before gluing it to the other pipes, and it's got loads of tape around it, so that's quite a vulnerable thing, because if you don't use enough tape the first time you don't get a second choice without destroying all the pipe work that comes afterwards, because that's all glued. So quite pleased that we'll be able to be in a position tomorrow probably to test it with the pump. Once I finish that tank at the end, we're good to hook that up to the mains, prime it, and then put it on and see if we've got any leaks anywhere. Quite good progress with the walls today, considering it's their first day. The first day is always messy because they've got to do a lot of measuring and understanding before they actually get down to slapping the blocks up. And they're having some input as to the construction of this wall here between the two bathrooms. So my proposal was to build it in the shape you can see those blocks there, and then the two blocks that are an example that are on top at the moment would basically form a shelf in each shower room, running the whole length of the shower room. They've suggested that we fill the cavity up with CPAC because that'll give the whole wall a lot more strength. Otherwise the outside walls are sort of not really supported by anything because there aren't any posts to drill into at either end. So it's a bit less of a supported wall in that sense. So what they're going to do is they're going to drill the concrete base and insert steel and tie off each of these pipes to the steel to keep those upright and in place when any CPAC is poured, and then they can build the two cavity wall, and I would imagine that as they go they can fill it up with CPAC, so they don't have to wait till it's a full metre and a bit high before they do that. And then of course the blocks that go on top will be more secure because they'll be held by a layer of CPAC directly underneath them. So that's good. Yes, they're having a little bit of input, which is good because that shows that they're thinking about it, and they're actually not just doing what they're told and then if it's wrong, but they're actually understanding what we want and how we're going to achieve it. So quite pleased with today. Even more pleased that I'm now able to park my car up at the top of the driveway, so it's not in the way of any stray buffaloes or getting excessively dirty from mud. So yeah, things are coming along.